My uncle took me in after my parents died, but what he did at night still haunts me. I trusted him. He was family. But what he did to me in that house changed everything. And if you think you know how this story ends, you're wrong. My name is Amaka, and this is the story I never wanted to tell. But staying silent. That only protects the monsters. Some stories are too heavy to tell. But silence makes the pain worse. I was only 15 when my life crumbled beneath my feet. My parents died in a car accident along the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. It happened on a Saturday morning, a day that started normal and ended with my entire world disappearing. My mother had traveled with my father to buy goods for their provision store. I stayed back in Oka to help clean the house and prepare Sunday rice. Just a normal weekend for a normal family. By evening, a neighbor ran into our compound, barefoot, crying. "Amaka! Amaka! Come oh! Something has happened." Her voice trembled. My heart dropped before my mind could catch up. They said your parents' bus had an accident. The trailer crushed it. Nobody survived. The next part still gives me chills, because I realize now that my reaction saved my life later. I didn't cry immediately. My mind refused to accept it. I ran down the street barefoot, hoping it was a mistake. But by nightfall, the confirmation came. My parents were gone. And I was completely alone. Their burial was quiet. A few uncles came, faces I barely recognized, offering empty condolences. Neighbors offered rice, gari, and words of pity. And then, silence. Everyone returned to their lives, leaving me with the weight of my own. The family house became a tomb. Dust settled on the TV cabinet. The ceiling fan squeaked louder than usual, like it was crying too. My mother's wrapper still hung on the back of the door, smelling faintly of her perfume. And this is where I made my first mistake. When Uncle Mike showed up, I was so grateful. Comment below if you've ever trusted someone just because you were desperate. After some days, an uncle I barely knew arrived, Uncle Mike. He was my father's elder brother, based in Onitsha. He came in a tinted car with air conditioning and spoke like someone who was used to giving orders. "You're too young to stay alone," he said, his voice smooth, caring. "Come with me to Onitsha. I'll take care of you. You're my blood." Those words, "you're my blood," I held onto them like a lifeline. I didn't argue. What choice did I have? I packed my clothes in a small Gonomosgo bag, locked the door of my parents' house for the last time, and followed him. I thought I was being rescued. I had no idea I was walking into a different kind of prison. His house in Paul was impressive. White walls, tiles in the sitting room, a television bigger than anything I had ever seen. His wife, Auntie Ruth, didn't talk much. She served rice when I arrived, but her eyes watched me like I was an intruder, not family. "You'll stay in the spare room," Uncle Mike said, showing me a small room with a single bed. "Feel at home." The room had no lock. I noticed that immediately, but I told myself it didn't matter. After all, this was family. For the first few days, I tried to adjust. I helped with house chores, fetch water, clean the compound. Uncle Mike said he would enroll me in school soon. Every night, we prayed as a family before going to bed. His prayers were loud, dramatic, full of hallelujah and blessings. I tried to believe I was safe. I tried to believe God had sent me a guardian angel. If you're watching this and you're in a situation where something feels off but you can't put your finger on it, trust that feeling. I wish I had. Until the fourth night. That's when everything changed. It rained heavily that night, the kind of rain that drowns out all other sounds. I was lying in bed, facing the wall, listening to the water hit the zinc roof, when I heard the door creak. I thought maybe it was wind. Or rats. We had rats in that house. until I felt someone's hand on my ankle. I turned slowly, praying it was my imagination. It wasn't. Uncle Mike stood there in his boxers, shirtless. He locked the door behind him, that same door with no lock from the inside, and came to sit on the edge of my bed. "Amaka," he whispered, his voice completely different now. "Lower. Dangerous. You're a big girl now. You understand what I mean." My throat closed up. I couldn't speak. I couldn't move. "You're not a baby," he continued, his hand moving up my leg. "You've seen things. Don't act naive." I shook my head, backed away as far as the wall would let me. He leaned closer, and I could smell his breath, toothpaste mixed with something darker. "If you scream, they'll blame you," he whispered. "This is my house. You're here because I allow it. What happened next, I'm going to tell you because someone needs to hear this. But first, I need to say something to anyone watching who has experienced this. It wasn't your fault. It was never your fault. I didn't scream. I didn't fight. I froze. My body betrayed me when I needed it most." He did what he came to do, got up, put on his trousers, and walked out. Like nothing happened. Like he had just come to check if I was sleeping. The next morning was the hardest part. I sat through breakfast in silence, my body aching, my mind screaming. Auntie Ruth asked if I was okay. I nodded, forced a smile. Uncle Mike smiled like a pastor. Said a long prayer before we ate. Called me my daughter in front of her, his voice dripping with fake affection. I wanted to vomit. That night, I slept with the lights on. As if light could protect me. But that didn't stop him. And this is the part that breaks my heart the most, because it shows how predators operate. Comment if you've seen these warning signs in your own life. He came again. And again. He developed a routine, like this was normal. Sometimes he brought food to my room, like it was a favor. Other times, he would press money into my hand. "For your body cream," he said once, his voice sickeningly gentle. "You girls need to look good." That money felt like poison in my hands. I began to hate myself. I couldn't look in the mirror without seeing his hands on me. I stopped laughing. I avoided everyone. I bathed 4 times a day, scrubbing until my skin was raw, but I still felt filthy. I lost weight. My eyes sunk. I started skipping meals, hoping if I disappeared enough, he would lose interest. He didn't. The next part of my story will make you angry. It made me angry too. But it's important you hear it. Once, I gathered all my courage and tried to tell Auntie Ruth. I waited until Uncle Mike went to work, and I approached her while she was cooking. "Auntie," I said, my voice barely a whisper, "your husband comes to my room at night." She stopped stirring her soup and gave me a long, cold stare. "You're just a teenager with an overactive imagination," she said, her voice sharp as a blade. "Don't bring problems into my home." That moment broke something in me. Because I realized, she knew. Deep down, she knew, and she chose to protect her marriage instead of protecting me. That night, he beat me. For the first time. A hard slap across my face that split my lip and left a ringing in my ears. "You want to scatter my home?" he shouted, his pastoral mask completely gone. "You think anybody will believe a small girl like you?" The worst part. He was right. Who would believe me over him? I stopped talking after that. But I didn't stop thinking. I needed to leave. Somehow. But sometimes, hope comes from the most unexpected places. One day, while helping carry water from the borehole, I overheard some girls talking about a small fellowship that held near the motor park every Wednesday. That Wednesday, I went. I sat at the back, kept quiet, but listened. For the first time in months, I heard words that weren't threats or lies. The pastor's wife, Mama Chi noticed me. After service, she said, "You've been quiet. What's your name?" "Amaka," I said, surprised by the sound of my own voice. "Are you okay?" This moment changed everything. And I want everyone watching to understand, sometimes, all it takes is one person who cares enough to ask the right question. I wanted to lie. I had practiced lying for weeks. But instead, I whispered, "I don't feel safe at home." She didn't push for details. She just said I should again next week. The next week, I returned. And the week after that, she started bringing me home after service. Gave me bread and malt. Asked if I wanted to talk. And one evening, when the weight of my secret became too heavy to carry alone, I told her everything. Mama Chi didn't cry. She didn't gasp or shake her head in disbelief. She held my hand and said 5 words that saved my life: "We won't let him hurt you again." That night, she made calls. She contacted a women's group linked with a church shelter. They asked for details, created a plan, arranged everything. 2 days later, I packed my bag quietly. I had to time everything perfectly, one mistake, and I'd never get another chance. I left before dawn, while Uncle Mike was snoring and Auntie Ruth was lost in her willful ignorance. I opened the gate as quietly as possible and walked away from that house. I didn't look back. Not once. I didn't care what Uncle Mike would say when he found out I was gone. I didn't care if Auntie Ruth called me ungrateful or cursed my name. All I knew was, I had escaped. Mama Chi's husband drove us to a safe house just outside Onitsha. The house was quiet, walled, and painted pale yellow. At the gate, a sign read, "Daughters of Strength Foundation for girls who need a second chance." I read those words and cried for the first time since my parents died. Not from pain, but from relief. Inside, I met other girls. Some were younger, some older. Some with babies on their backs. All of them with eyes that had seen too much, but also with something I had forgotten existed: hope. They didn't ask many questions. Just welcomed me. One girl, Ngozi, gave me a wrapper and said, "You'll be fine. Just rest first." That first night, I slept deeply, for the first time in months. No footsteps in the dark. No hands on my skin. Just silence and peace. At the shelter, the routine was healing. Morning prayers, real ones, not performances. Breakfast, eaten without fear. Then group therapy or skill classes. The matron, Sister Miriam, was kind but firm. "This place is not for pity," she told us. "It's for rebuilding." And that's when I learned something that changed my perspective forever. Comment below if you want to know what it was. One day during group therapy, Sister Miriam turned to me and said, "Amaka, would you like to speak today?" I hesitated. My chest tightened. But slowly, painfully, I began. I told them about my parents' accident. How the house became silent. How Uncle Mike came like a savior and turned into a predator. And when I said the words, I begged him to stop. And he didn't. I broke down. But they didn't laugh. They didn't judge. They cried with me. That day, I let go of the shame I'd been carrying. Because I realized, it was never mine to carry in the first place. Over the next few weeks, I began to heal in small ways. I joined the tailoring class. At first, I couldn't even hold scissors properly, my hands shook too much. But one of the older girls, Zainab, showed me patience. "Make your pain useful," she said. "Stitch something beautiful from the ugly things." So I stitched. I sewed wrappers into skirts. Skirts into gowns. I started making small purses from leftover fabric. One of the instructors saw my work and said, "You have hands. Good hands." I smiled for the first time in months. But the real surprise came when Sister Miriam called me to her office. "We've arranged for you to return to school," she said. "Evening classes. You'll sit for your WAC." I was shocked. I hadn't opened a textbook in months. My mind felt rusty, damaged. But she looked me straight in the eyes and said, "You are not finished. You are just starting." I wrote my WAC months later. I walked into that exam hall with shaky legs, but I walked out with hope in my chest. One Saturday, we had visitors from a women's group. They wanted to hear survivor stories. Sister Miriam asked me to speak publicly for the first time. I was terrified, but I stood up. I told them everything. This time, I didn't cry. This time, I spoke like someone who had survived the storm and come out stronger. One of the women stood up and said, "You're brave. You don't know how many girls your voice will help." Later that day, a young woman from a local NGO approached me. "Amaka, would you like to learn graphic design? We are offering scholarships." I said yes immediately. She smiled and said, "Then come next Monday. Let's start giving your story a different ending." A year after I escaped, I got a call from Momachi that made my blood run cold. "Amaka, your uncle is looking for you," she said. "He came to the church asking questions." My heart jumped. The old fear tried to creep back in. "Did you tell him where I am?" I asked. "No," she said firmly. "But I wanted you to know, he's afraid. That's why he's looking." And that's when I realized something powerful. The hunter had become the hunted. That same week, Sister Miriam arranged for a lawyer to help me file a report. I was scared. My hands shook as I signed those papers. But I did it. Because silence protects the guilty. And I was done being silent. Now, I live in a small room close to the tailoring shop. I design clothes during the day and study graphic design in the evenings. I teach new girls at the shelter how to sew, not just fabric, but their lives back together. I still visit Momachi and her husband every Sunday. They've become the family I thought I had lost forever. Sometimes I pass girls on the road with tired eyes, hungry eyes, the same eyes I once had. I always smile at them. Not out of pity, but so they know someone sees them. That someone like them survived. And that's why I'm telling this story today. Because my name is Amaka. And what happened to me at night may still haunt me sometimes. But it doesn't define me. Not anymore. If you're watching this and you're going through something similar, please know. It's not your fault. You deserve better. There are people who will believe you. You are stronger than you think. Type in the comments below and share this video if it helped you. Write survivor if you've overcome something difficult. Write a believer if you support survivors. Let me know what topics you want me to talk about next. Remember to subscribe if you want to hear more real stories like this. And hit the notification bell, because speaking truth to power is what we do here. Until next time, stay strong. Stay brave. Stay you.